and today I'm going to present the finding from my master thesis titled Exploring Intermediate Roles of Visual Art YouTube Influencers in Thailand from the perspective of value proposition. And this is my keyword. And this is the structure of the presentation for today. And okay, Thailand visual art industry officially formed in 2003 by Office of Contemporary Art and Cultures under the Ministry of Cultures. And in 2018 was the good year for like our industry because there are six major art festivals happening in the same year across the country. And the next 2 years, in 2020, Creative Economy Agency published the industry report that shows significance of this industry, where more than 60,000 people working, not only artists but also the curators, art handlers, art agency, and collectors. But however, at the same report, they also point out the problem of the industry as well, which is the very small size of the audience and the high number of the artists. So in order to address this problem, CEA proposed the audience and market development strategies using the online art media to create the art understanding among the society. People behavior on watching content is changed by the coming of online platform like YouTube, and it's happened in Thailand as well. We spend like more than 3.3 hours a day watching content on YouTube, and the increasing numbers of creators lead to the diversify of the art content in Thailand. And this content is produced by the art influencers who didn't follow the traditional career path, but launched their own YouTube channel, creating art content and gain their audience base, which result in the opportunity of working with the global brands. And by looking at this picture, you can see the detachment between the two, and it implies the possible mismatch perception and value of art content. So this is the industry motivation. Actually, I used to study in art history, and I also the art writer in the magazine in Thailand. That is my personal motivation. And for the industry motivation, in the same report I have mentioned earlier, they did propose the strategic plan, but actually there are no concrete implementation. And this is my conceptual frameworks, and it shows how I will conduct the research by exploring the value of art content produced by art influencers and see if it fits or not fits with the value that people who actually work in the industry expect to that content. So the literature review I have managed to review is divided into 4 domains: evolution of art content, value proposition, power platform proposition, and Thailand visual art industry. And in this research, I will present the finding that address the research objective 1, which is to understand how the value of art content is changed from pre-industry era to the age of digital world. So let's start with classic value of visual arts. In pre-industry era, the value of art is central around aura. Point out by Walter Benjamin, aura of art is accumulated from its presence in time and space. The authenticity that one can trace back to its owner, setting, and originalities, or its function in some religion rituals. Therefore, art has intrinsic value, its quality of moving people feeling, but at the same time, art also put into serve political purpose, such as educate the member of the Christianity or celebrate historic moments. And more importantly, because of the patronage cultures, art has the symbolic value as well. And it is the ability to show the owner social status. So art eventually create a social class in the societies. Okay, from this point, instead of exploring the value of the art, this study will focus on the value of the art content from its origin in the dawn of the mass media era to the day that it is intervened by the digital technology to the consumer's perspective. Okay, Value of the art content. Reproduction technology made the pre-existing value of the art disappear. And the fundamental idea is about to democratize culture to the societies. However, it was until 1960 when the art magazines such as Art Forum has emerged. The art contents could be categorized as exhibition review, art historical article, artist interview, and contemporary critical text. And why art magazine has risen in that time? There are three factors. The first one is the growth of the art industry during the boom of significant art movement in America, such as like American Expressionism, pop art in US and in Europe. And the second is the expansion of the writers, art historian due to the publishing of the Lombard's Debate of the Art in 1967. And the third, which is very important, is the maturities of the advertising industry that make magazine business profitable. Art content is so powerful. Critic John Walker did emphasize that magazine has a power beyond the gallery or museum in terms of defining and establishing new development in art. Okay, so next I will give a little touch on the substance of the art content. Writing is a clear example that shows the dynamic of the value from the intrinsic to the economic value. At the core of the writings, critic John Berger points out that writing is to give meaning to the experience. And art content, writing remains the supplement of the artwork. I mean, the experience of the artworks in the first half of 20th centuries. Then Michael Finlay pointed out in his book The Value of the Art in 2012 that after World War II, art content fell in line with the language of the commerce, especially when the art became a fit subject for the mass circulation weekly magazine, as we can see from the screaming headline in the New York Times about the Van Gogh sunflower auction in London for 3.9 million. And there is no reason beside the price paid auction that made this art newsworthy. The next is art in age of social media. The story of the art magazine seems to be the history, especially for the young generation nowadays. Now we are living in the age of active cultural participation where everyone is a content creators due to the lower production costs and online platform that make people to send the content directly to the audience. And the thing is, thus art content in this time is so different from the past. I would call it user-generated art content. User-generated content basically is the digital content made by the internet user or those semi-professional influencers. The form of art content, therefore, is different from the past. As you can see, some are like art block, art challenge, also on. User-generated content is frequently explored. It's attributed by a number of scholars. People use and create and perceive user-generated content in different ways, from information seeking, emotional management, and self-expression. And emotional value is one of the most dominant value for this type of content. In terms of user-generated content producers by influencers, attractiveness, expertise, trustworthiness, and the similarity are the factors that determine the value of the content. So, and not to mention that the platform also provides user the statistic of the content performance like liking, sharing, commenting. So they are the powerful proxy which makes user-generated content so appeal to those marketeers who seek the strengthen customer relationship with the product, brand, and company. And the industry of the content is growing very big nowadays. So here we are live at the conclusion, which is the art content value frameworks. The value categorized into 5 domains, which is intrinsic, symbolic, political, social, and economic values. So for the classical visual art, the dominant value is symbolic value as it produces the class in the society. Consequently, as Walter Benjamin pointed out in his art, in the age of the reproduction books, the symbolic value of art was challenged by the reproduction technology under the idea of democratizing cultures, as you can see from these frameworks. And for the art content makes more and more people access to art. So basically it's about the social value. But more importantly, the crucial mechanism that is led in the growing market of contemporary art is the economic values. The economic value of art is influenced by art contents, and at the same time, the art content was dominated by the mass media quantitative measurements like rating and share that is ruled by the advertising industries. And for the user-generated art content, user-generated art content inherit the same value of art content. However, as the natures of user-generated content that highly associate to the emotional management and self-actualization, the art content then presents in the personal expression fashion rather than refer back to the art industry. And not to mention the prosumption, which is the new kind of content consumption, that is the combination of consumption and expressive production, refer to the reaction on the social media, including sharing, commenting, and liking. The dominant value, therefore the intrinsic value, as it moves audience in the more sentimental ways. And this is the overall difference between the value of the visual of the classical visual art, user-generated art content, and the art value. And this value framework will be used in the next stage of my research, that is trying to understand how how people who actually work in the industry actually perceive the value of the art content produced by visual art YouTube influencers. Thank you, that is all.